All right. Well, the formula for the transfer portal is, I believe, a 45-day window that ended on Wednesday. So 2 days ago, January 18th. And then the next window will open, I believe, on May 1st, following everyone's conclusion to spring practice. Heard it commented by somebody the other day that even that 45 days needs to be reined in a bit, that it's a bit excessive, that these student athletes should be able to make a decision in a shorter period of time than the 45 days. But one big piece of news that turned Oklahoma's way was, of course, the decision ultimately made by offensive lineman Walter Rouse, whom we have discussed here for the past couple of weeks, who made a commitment. And this would be the first, and I'm guessing that it's happened before, but this would be the first one that I can recall where we're, of course, discussing throughout the year flips on the recruiting side from high school into college. But this is the first that I can recall a flip from a commitment from a transfer where he originally had committed to Nebraska from Stanford, and a couple days later had a change of heart and decided on Oklahoma.
Yeah, no, absolutely, Mark. And it's not I've not heard much in regard to your point in the regards of flips from a transfer perspective. I've seen there's a couple of situations. One at Oklahoma State that I saw that one of their transfer running back, Sean Tyler, I believe his name, from Western Michigan, was did commit to Oklahoma State, that had flipped to I can't remember the school, but flipped somewhere else. But yeah, it's very rare on the transfer side. So yeah, this was a good. I mean, Oklahoma with they had some. They're losing quite a bit on that offensive line. This year, you've got Anton Harrison, that is going to be an NFL draft pick in some variety. And then you've got a couple of others that are from graduation and stuff like that. So you've got some needs, and then Oklahoma. Many people on here probably remember that Jacob Sexton had gotten he played a little bit in the bowl game. He was a starter because of all the guys that were sitting out or injured or whatever, what have you. And he got injured early in that game, and it was a significant injury from what I understand, something that may possibly keep him out for a good part of 2023. So I think stockpiling this talent not only on the recruiting trail but also through the transfer portal was big. So very, very big addition to your point with the flip from Nebraska to Oklahoma. It's kind of interesting how that played out. I had heard a day or so before his announcement to Nebraska that we kind of lost, that Oklahoma had kind of lost out on him, and then it was really kind of radio silent on him, and then they kept working him and they flipped him. And so I don't know the reason. I think everybody always just assumes when a flip happens it's NIL related. I don't know that that's necessarily the case. I don't know that it's not the case, but I think in this situation, for whatever reason it was, Oklahoma continued to not accept no for an answer, and continue to work through that at a position of real need for them on the offensive line. So yeah, that's really kind of the only big news from a transfer portal perspective. As you'd mentioned, Mark, the portal did close on Wednesday, and will open back up as soon as spring practice and all the spring games and things like that have concluded. This year. So I think as you look, there's obviously at this point there's a lot of evaluation of the people that Oklahoma was able to bring in, and what do they look like on campus? What does it look like once spring ball starts? What does the spring game look like as a kind of an evaluation of that talent? And then obviously they'll look and see, okay, what do we need to do next as you kind of transfer, no pun intended, from spring to fall, and see where that's at. I still think there's probably some needs from a receiver perspective. We'll see how some of that looks here in the spring, but I think there's a need for a couple of guys that they might look at spring related, and then I think there's some interior defensive linemen. Those are the two areas that I would suspect if Oklahoma looks to adding some additional guys there. and through the portal, that's the two spots that I would anticipate those guys coming from.